we go.
Anyway, to the original topic, here we are, Big Al and Shogun getting back on topic to Infinity War, the snap. Like, in that moment when it happened, like half the population disappeared. We're never gonna see how the world reacted in that moment. The closest we'll get is the after credit scene with Fury, and you see planes falling out of the sky and cars crashing. I think that's the most we're gonna get. But the aftermath, that was explored in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They touched on it in WandaVision with Captain, that Rambo chick coming back to see her mother had passed away, but
Actually, no spoilers for anyone who's
oh shit! Spoilers for those who haven't seen WandaVision or
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
If you haven't seen it by now, I mean it's your own fault. Why are you even listening?
We could put spoilers in the title, but
yeah,
if you clicked on it without watching it, don't rage. It's your fault.
Okay. Before we continue, I would kindly like to say, in honor of the release of the Snyderverse, it was this year, right? Earlier this year, and in honor of Zack Snyder's appearance on Late Show and Army of the Dead, suck it, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, seriously, you guys suck. You don't even get the bonuses.
Yes.
Come on.
Fun fact, did you know that Warner Brothers, Zack Snyder originally went to Warner Brothers with Army of the Dead. He wanted it to appear on HBO Max, and they said no, so he took it to Netflix, and it's now one of Netflix's highest grossing movies.
Yeah, suck it, execs.
Yeah, they really shot themselves in the foot on that one.
They shot themselves everywhere. They just I don't know.
Yeah.
They couldn't shoot the side of the barn, so they just shot the side of the leg.
Themselves, dude. These studios have a habit of doing this. I remember Ice Cube, he was talking about the Friday movies. He was asked, did I talk about this?
No, I don't think so.
He was asked to write the final Friday. That was what it was going to be called, the final Friday, because he'd written 3 so far, and New Line Cinema wanted him to write one last Friday. He gave in 2 scripts. The first one he gave in, he admits okay, that was pretty shit.
Yeah.
The second one, he was it was chef's kiss. It was perfect because it followed him and his cousin Day Day, and they were running a weed dispensary. This isn't recent. It was back in the late 2000s. So they were running a weed dispensary, and they got busted for whatever reason. They had to go, and then they had to go to jail. And all the guys, the villains from the earlier movies, are there too. And eventually they find some way to get out of there, and they get sent to this rehab center. And then it turns out Chris Tucker's character from the first movie is running the rehab center. But the whole thing is a fucking scam. He's actually smoking the weed he confiscates. Dude, that movie sounds so awesome.
I'd love to see
you know why it was canceled? One of the studio execs told Ice Cube he didn't understand what was going on between Ice Cube and the love interest in that movie. He didn't get their relationship.
It doesn't. It's a fucking Friday.
That's it. That's why you canceled the movie because of one thing.
Execs, man. Execs. I hate them. It's so annoying.
And the movie, that movie Ride Along that he did with Kevin Hart? New Line Cinema owned the rights to that movie for 10 years and did nothing with it. Then they eventually were transferred to Universal, and they got 2 movies out of that. And New Line Cinema also owned the rights to Straight Outta Compton for a decade and did nothing because, and I quote, it's just a rap movie. That's how they saw it, dude. It also went to Universal, and big deal. The fuck, man.
Yeah, Universal knows what they're doing, clearly.
Plus, how can you just sit on rights for 10 fucking years? Get rid of them if you're not gonna do anything with them.
Yeah, I feel they just hold up rights so that nobody else can.
Yes.
That's what all of these fuckers do.
That's what Fox did. Fox did that for 10 years with Fantastic Four. 10 goddamn years, man.
You're finally getting a good... Just please, whatever you do, please don't fuck up Doctor Doom again. Please, just don't make him die. I'll say.
Don't make him die.
Yeah. You know how the typical Marvel thing is too. The villain dies at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. I mean, they didn't kill Zemo.
Okay, Zemo was like an exception because I feel like they knew they were going to use it.
Yeah. Well, nowadays villains don't die anymore. When they know they've got a good one, they keep it. But like, yeah.
That was funny. Did you see the trailer for the Eternals?
Yes. Didn't tell me a whole lot.
Exactly. I watched the first one. I was like, you know what? This is the first trailer I watched in a long while. I won't watch another.
Wow.
That's it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Because they were mentioning events that were happening present time in the MCU.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys are fucking OP, super powerful beings, and y'all have done fuck all. You're sitting like Professor Paradox.
They actually, the dude, the person making the movie explained like they could have helped when Thanos was, fucking shit up in the universe. Instead, they chose not to. Like there's a, like right underneath. I remember Marvel actually commented on the director's post and she was like, the Eternals could have stopped Thanos, but they chose not to. And Marvel commented with this gif of Matthew McConaughey going, would have been cool if you did. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's just... Dude, when in Endgame, when they came back, I was half expecting that future to be fucked up. Because you remember Cap was like, Hail Hydra in the elevator. So, like, I'm half expecting, like, fuck, what's this gonna do? And he told other Captain America, like, Bucky's alive. So, like, fuck, how's this gonna, like...
It did nothing.
Yeah, it did nothing.
Did nothing.
Like, oh, man. Dude, people thought Galactus was gonna show up in this one. Because in the comics, the Avengers do get, like Galactus does show up to help the Avengers, but, like, nah, it would have been wasteful if he did, though.
Galactus needs to stay in the Fantastic Four films. And do him right. Don't make him like a fucking
cloud.
A cloud.
Big old space cloud.
Like Dormammu. Like
he was just a face.
Yeah, Dormammu was at least he got a face.
Yeah.
I mean, like that much. They gave him that much. They gave him the face.
Yeah.
But like.
What was it with evil clouds in like the 2000s, man? Just. You remember that one Ben 10 game? What's this Ultimate Destruction? And there was this ominous like cloud, not a cloud, like this huge like space storm coming. It was coming to Earth, and then it turned out the space storm was just a giant, like it was a way big, and like then what was all that? It was Albedo, but then I'm just kind of like.
That was my favorite fight.
Yeah.
Like I'd replay that level just to beat the shit out of Albedo.
Same, dude. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I get why why the studio only let you play way big once, because like, well, it's way big. You can only do so much, but like, it was so much fun.
That fight was epic.
You can tell they really went in on this. Like, okay, guys, this is the one level we get to use way big. Let's really. Oh shit.
Yeah.
It was awesome whenever he'd show up on the show.
Yeah, he was like, all right, we need to call the big guns.
Yes.
You mean 4 arms? Oh fuck.
It was always something epic. It was never like every alien at some point in Alien Force or Ultimate Alien was made to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Or something goofy or whatever, but he was always
They
like...
had that filler.
Yeah.
They had the
But Way Big was always like that last ditch hope, you know?
Yeah, it was like, all right, we need to call in the big guns.
Yeah.
Assemble the Infinity Gun. It's like fucking cool.
I really liked the Ultimate Way Big with like the blue and white.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had an ultimate form, because like, it's way big. What more can you do? But like, we can do a lot more. That ending was nice. If the show had ended there, I'm like, Omniverse had its moments, but if Ultimate Alien had ended with Ben getting a new watch and like that ending.
And going off to college.
Yeah.
I think that would have been like, done. I don't need to watch anymore. It's done.
Yeah, man.
Then Omniverse showed up.
Dude, and it tanked to the point that the final season, they made bad episodes on purpose. You remember I told you about this? They made bad episodes on purpose so that the ratings would tank and the investors would get their money back, regardless of whether anything happens. Like just, if your show gets so bad that you have to make bad episodes on purpose, cancel it.
Yeah. At that point, you're milking a franchise, and then now with the new series, it's just you're milking something that you really had no business touching. Another reason why execs suck. Just give me a second. I need to throw this cup away.
Whew. Man, the tide of things going on. Okay, the snap, Falcon and Winter Soldier, the GRC, right?
Yeah, global repatriation. English.
Repatriation. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the one because I remember that chick was like she didn't want to be repatriated. That's why she's doing all this like flag smashing shit. I'm like, it's not even like a villain where you're like, I understand your motives, I just don't agree with how you're doing it. This villain is kind of dumb. Just
She sort of became the thing that she set out not
Yes.
to be.
yeah,
And that's a very villain thing. It's
yeah.
a very villain thing. Like, I could understand her motives in the beginning, but the more and more heinous shit she did, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, listen, it's a better way to do things, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Eventually, he had to kill her, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait,
The-
no, Sharon killed her.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking Sharon. Yo, dude, Sharon is like the character out of all of them with the most potential. Because now she's the freaking power book.
Yep. And you remember at the end, she was like, we may not have had the super soldier serums, but like we now have access to like all the shield tech and all the government secrets and all that. Like, I was like, oh shit,
Oh shit.
what's she gonna do now, man?
Will Cap be proud of you? I don't fucking know, but hey.
You think she could potentially like get her own show, like the new Agent Carter?
No, I don't want another Asian. I don't want another type of that show. I think she serves in like a very gray area within the MCU. But she was a good guy. Now she's doing some very sus things.
Yeah. Well, a lot can happen in like those 5 years, and like we saw the results of those 5 years. Like the Avengers bringing back all those people really fucked over the people who were left behind.
Yeah.
We saw that because like the government was like, let's focus more on the people who came back as opposed to the people who've been here all along.
Yeah. And that
Because now it's like they had to like relocate a whole bunch of people. Like if you used to live in this house, like borders weren't really a thing in the 5 years. And then when people came back, everything like went back to the way it was.
Let's get it back to normal.
There's so many questions like what about a president?
Maybe
What if the
Thanos
president
was
vanished? Like
fucking
just
right, huh?
yeah.
Maybe
Just,
Thanos was right.
partially like in Infinity War, I can understand his motives, but then in Endgame when he was like, I'll just make a new world, like
No, I think that Thanos was a lot younger.
yeah, like I mean, if he
okay,
could have
not-
done this the whole time, why didn't he just invent like a separate universe for the other people to go to instead of wiping them all out?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just yeah, you could understand that guy's reasoning in the first movie.
Yeah.
In the second one, it was like, I get it, you're right, that was the younger Thanos, a different guy, but like, no, you know what they should have done? Since it was younger Thanos, he should have been blue. He should have been blue like he was in fucking Guardians when he was sitting on that chair. He should have been blue then, man.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been. What the fuck was that, man? Why was he changing color over the?
I think they were just trying to find the right scheme for him before they introduced him proper. Yeah, he looked very weird throughout. Like his transition.
Yeah,
looked
like
very
just.
weird. And, like we got the final version of
We got
Thanos.
the blue one, the purple one, and now the pink one. Like just like what?
Like,
What's
make
going
up your
on
mind.
here?
Make up your mind, please.
Because in the first Avengers, we didn't see much of him. We just saw him like turn,
Yeah.
like just like part of him, and like I had when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? It wasn't until what was it, Age of Ultron, when he like grabs the glove that I was like, oh, that's Thanos. That's the glove. Oh man, they're gonna do the Infinity thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
I remember I was about 8 or 9 years old, and this is when like the MCU was like so brand new. My cousin and I and my friend that lived in the flat next door, we went to go watch the first Iron Man movie. And my cousin read a bit of the comics. There used to be this bookshop in town that used to give you comics for $10.
Right.
You could go buy an issue of like Iron Man for $10. Fucking cheap.
The old days.
The old days, right?
Yeah.
So he used to read quite a bit, and he was like, okay. So
Random noises. Moving on. Yeah, he used to read quite a bit.
he used to read quite a bit, and he was like, okay, so this is and then he started outlining their map. Like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. The first Avengers movie is gonna happen, and they're gonna set up like a plot for the bad guy, and then eventually we are going to get the Infinity War started. And I'm like, the fuck's an Infinity War? And then he was like, no, you'll see it'll happen. And then now thinking about it, I'm like,
He was right.
I was like, this man was right all along.
Yeah.
And he said something in the press, there was a whole article about it. He explained to me, like, oh, they hinted towards it. Like this big, ambitious project.
Yeah.
Marvel fucking did it.
They did it. One in like, what was that? Strange said like 14 million and something chance.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Do you know why it worked? People, like we said, directors, investors, shut the fuck up. That's why it worked.
Yeah.
Let's be real, okay? But in terms of the Marvel movies, directors don't really put their fingers in those projects. Like Kevin Feige might get involved, but he knows what the fuck
He's a producer.
He's a producer.
Yeah,
He
he's
knows-
supposed to get involved.
Yeah. But like, he's quite high up Marvel.
Yeah.
But
But he's not there on behalf of the studio.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
yeah. So I think having someone like that in DC might help them with their fucked up universe.
They don't have a Feige. I didn't notice that. Like, they don't have a single guy directing the thing. It's just, plus the thing, like, every few years, the execs get fired, new ones come in, and like, that's,
A high turnover at DC,
Yeah.
man. I might go over there, make a few million, not get my bonus, and then fuck off. Who
yeah.
knows?
And that's, the fact that DC fired the old execs is the reason we even got a Snyder Cut. The old execs were like, no, there is no Snyder Cut, there never will be. And like the new guys were like, okay, like, what's the possibility that there is,
Yeah. They saw what Marvel was doing. Yeah.
I just hate what they did with the release, dude. Like, cause you remember when they first announced it, they were like, it's coming to HBO Max, it's gonna come out in March. And what I had in mind was like, it was gonna premiere by itself. Like in March, it was gonna be the premiere on HBO Max, like bam, first big HBO Max showing. But then they had it premiere alongside a bunch of other things, and I'm like, dude, now like we're never really gonna know, because if you have that option to watch something else, you're not really gonna like go straight to.
But still, I think those other things. What else? Do you remember what else was released?
No.
Exactly. Exactly. The name itself carries.
Yeah.
The fact that it was a Snyderverse and people asked and asked and asked and asked. And
Yeah.
despite it being released with a whole bunch of other shit, nobody even knows what that was. So,
Yeah.
here we go. I mean, like, it would have been better if there was no other thing. For the guy who never watched the original like 4 or 5 years ago and got disappointed
Yeah.
with his $8 or whatever that he spent on the movie.
Right. But still, I mean, yeah, it's like they said, oh, we got faith in you, just not like enough faith to have you premiere on your own to launch on new
I
service.
mean, like, we saw what you did with BVS. We don't. Ish.
But like, even with the MCU, you do get some studio meddling. Like the reason, what was his name? Not Kevin Feige. He directed Iron Man 1 and 2. I can't remember his name. John Favreau.
Yeah.
The reason John Favreau didn't direct Iron Man 3 was because of studio interference in Iron Man 2. And that's also one of the reasons why, the Whiplash. That's why that actor said he didn't want to work with Marvel ever again. It's because like he filmed a whole bunch of scenes. His character had a backstory. He had depth and all that stuff, and he put a lot of time and effort, and he learned to speak Russian and did all this shit. And then when the movie came out, he was just a two-dimensional villain. He's like, all of his best scenes were like cut, and he was like, fuck this studio, like fuck this. And John Favreau like told him like, I didn't cut your scenes. Like the studio had to like cut the movie down. So yeah, Marvel does meddle. They just don't meddle while the movie's being made. They only like step in like once the movie's finished and like, okay, we can do without this, we can do without this.
I think in that case, Marvel learned early not to fuck with it.
Yeah.
I think they learned very early, like, because they were meddling and those movies were tanking. The Iron Man trilogy isn't great. I think the only good trilogy is Captain America. Let's be real. First one, great. Second one, fucking amazing.
You know there's going to be Captain America 4.
Yeah, with Falcon. I don't mind it. I don't actually mind it. Go for it.
Yeah, but like, Captain America, the third one, let's be honest, that was just an Avengers movie.
That was just a mini Avengers movie.
Yes, it's like the DC animated movies and like Batman Dark or whatever, and yet they have all of his villains, and Superman is there too. Like, this is just a Justice League movie that you called a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Wait a second.
Shit, like. But yeah, you're right. They did learn. Like even Hugo Weaving, the Red Skull, like he was actually asked to come back for Infinity War. You know they recast him. They asked him to come back, and he said no because with Red Skull, like when he signed on to be Red Skull, he was promised like you're not just gonna be a two-dimensional villain. We're gonna like flesh out your character and all that. And then when the movie came out, two-dimensional villain again. So just like, oh well.
Yeah.
They could see like, okay, this shit is actually like costing us.
This is costing us money, and it's fucking like people's. Because now they burnt their relationship with Hugo Weaving. They can never bring the Red Skull back. They have to fucking recast the character.
With a sound alike.
Yeah.
So like, it's just, dude. I feel bad for that guy. But just, you can't do your own interpretation. I feel bad for people who have to do that. Like, you can't do your own interpretation of the character. You have to copy the other guy's thing, like Troy Baker's Joker in Arkham Origins. He had to copy Mark Hamill because he was playing a younger version of Joker. He couldn't do his own thing with the character.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And you know what really bugged me about that movie? I mean, that video game, a whole bunch of reviews came out like saying Troy Baker is just like ripping off Mark Hamill. He's ripping off Mark Hamill.
He
like,
had to.
Exactly.
He had to.
Dude.
But I think, I don't know. When it comes to voice acting in certain video games,
Not the same, huh?
that doesn't feel the same.
Did you like Arkham Origins in the Arkham series?
For me, it's the 3. Origins is there. It exists like somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like something that happened a while back.
Because it wasn't made by Rocksteady.
It wasn't made by Rocksteady. It wasn't that great. And even Arkham Knight itself, it was so freaking tedious to finish that game.
The Bat Tank.
I hated that thing. At some point, I wish I could just drive it into the river and just like forget about it.
Yeah.
Because it was so much cooler just flying around.
Yeah, like grapple hooks and shit. And it's like someone saw that and like, okay, Arkham Asylum made money. Arkham City made money. You know what he needs? Let's put him in a tank. Let's have him drive around.
No, don't get me wrong. The few moments that the tank is useful,
Yeah.
like I remember the Riddler's tracks. Yeah, that was fun. That was so much fun. But the few moments where it was useful, I'm like, yeah, sure. But not every fight needs to happen in the fucking tank. I remember you beat the main villain.
Yeah.
You beat the Arkham Knight, Jason Todd, in the fucking tank. I'm like, no. Just no. Get out the car and fight.
Yeah. I feel like that should have been. I think the Arkham series. Remember Arkham Asylum with the Titan Joker? What do you think about that? Because, like, with hindsight, people are looking back at it and saying, nah, it wasn't that great.
I just think they needed a big dumb boss to fight.
Yeah. Well, we had Bane, I mean, and all those Titan mini bosses along the way, so, I mean.
Yeah, Joker wasn't that difficult compared to the first time you fight Bane. Yo, that was hectic. Especially if you play it on hard difficulty and you don't get the indicators, so you're sitting there like
You get wrecked.
You get wrecked because you have to watch Bane, you have to watch the thing he's throwing,
And you have to watch all these other guys around him. Yeah.
That fight was insane. And then you fight Joker at the end after you like get to the end, like this is easy.
Because the Joker really shouldn't be that difficult for Batman to fight. He's just a guy.
I mean, like there's some speculation that Joker's like secretly like some tactical genius.
Well, he does know close quarters combat, as shown in the one Arkham Origins section where you play as him in like this dreamscape. He's like in this like he's telling a story to Harley Quinn because it's an Origins and it's the first time they met and he's explaining like who he is and he's telling a story of like it goes to like this dream world where he's like at a comedy club and he jumps into the crowd and he starts beating up the crowd members. So he does know like some close quarters combat, but like enough to take on the Dark Knight.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Even that Batman, he's a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
You say, yeah.
I mean, it's a beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
Come on. Of course it's gonna be more aggressive. You know what always bugs me about those games? It's like, it took him one night to do this, and like, bro, it did not take me one night to finish this fucking game. Don't you fucking lie.
This story did not last one fucking night.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, the night is not that. Unless you're telling me it started at like 7 at night and ended at like 4 in the morning, then it's
Hell.
like, maybe.
You must have taken a back nap somewhere.
Dude. But I do like that Bane figures out who Batman is in that story, even if it doesn't make sense for the other games, you know. But still,
Yeah. I think Bane isn't. I think
he's been pretty disserviced.
he has been this. He's quite smart.
Yeah.
He's quite a smart villain.
But all people remember is like, oh, he's the big guy who broke the bat.
No,
like,
he's
no, dude,
Pretty
he's
smart motherfucker.
Yeah.
Bane used to be like a child in the prison.
Yeah.
He used to carry around a teddy bear, and in it was like a knife, this big knife. And the one time this dude tried to molest him, so he pulls up. It's like 1 second. He pulls up like the head of the teddy bear, and he swings it. He's got it on a rope, and he cuts the guy's neck open, and he just walks away.
Damn.
It was like a little child walking around with the teddy bear, just like.
Where was that scene in Dark Knight Rises, man?
That
Like,
would've- yo. It's like, no, the country was too poor. They couldn't afford teddy bears at that point.
I love Christopher Nolan as a director, but I hate Christopher Nolan as a director because like he believes deleted scenes should stay deleted. But then in interviews he tells what's in the scene and it's like fucking cool. I wish I'd seen that, but like no, deleted scenes should stay deleted. They'll never see later. Like
I don't
fucking
believe
why,
in that.
man?
I don't believe in that. Like, at least let people, even if it's, I feel like he's one of those people, it's like, they don't want anyone to see their work that's like fully polished.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And like, if it's not fully polished, it doesn't deserve to be released.
Yeah. It's one of his best and worst qualities, you know. Like just, yeah.
He's a brilliant director. Brilliant. I recently watched Dunkirk. That movie was quite fun.
Yeah, he was trying to win an Oscar in that one.
Yeah, you could
man.
tell.
You can tell what a director really wants an Oscar this year. You
It's
know,
like, we going for it, boys.
yeah.
You got Tom Hardy, you got Cillian Murphy.
We got Harry Styles, like this. That was a surprise, dude. Like that actually surprised me. I'm like, what? The One Direction guy? Really? Okay.
He can act. Nani?
Oh shit. And it's not like Justin Bieber popping up in your movie. No, he can act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird when you see actors, somebody in one field have a very good skill set in another.
Yeah.
Like the rapper Joey Badass in Mr. Robot, a really fucking good actor.
Damn. I was gonna say Will Smith, but like, yeah, Will Smith was a rapper before he was an actor. But
Okay,
like,
but he did like Fresh Prince when he was quite young.
yeah.
I mean, he got his acting chops. But Joey Badass is like, he doesn't. You've watched Mr. Robot.
The first season.
Okay, you haven't met his character.
Did you know the guy who voices Voss is in Mr. Robot? For real, the actual dude is the guy who voices Voss is in Mr. Robot.
Is he the gangster?
I think so, man. Like I don't know. I don't remember what, but I remember that he was in it. Dude, I remember something. He told a story like he got in character for his roles. He likes to get in character, like with Voss when he got in character, because dude, shit was crazy. Some of the behind the scenes shit is crazier than what happened on camera. But like, damn, yeah, he's really good. And there was like this hint like he was gonna be Scorpion, because he was in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and he had a scorpion tattoo. So they were like, he's gonna be Scorpion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I saw that.
but really, that's it? A scorpion tattoo, and you're like, he's gonna be the new Scorpion. Like this guy, right?
It's much better than we are walking past all the streets of all the villains.
You keep bringing that up.
Because it's so fucking dumb.
It is so on the nose, man. Just
was like, I wonder where they're gonna get the suits from.
Oh, there they are. Just neatly on display.
The one exec is like, I wonder where it's going. I'll never tell.
Man, just... You know, the Sinister Six weren't even going to be in the next Spider-Man movie. They were going to get their own spin-off.
I would have preferred that.
Yeah, the reason was... the plan was Harry Osborn still needed, like, a cure. And he was going to task the Sinister Six with going out and, like, getting it. You know, that was going to be the point of the spin-off.
So, like, a weird Suicide Squad
Yes,
movie.
they were going to do Suicide Squad before Suicide Squad. Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm so glad they didn't do the Aunt May movie. Who the fuck wants an Aunt May movie?
Not me.
Like, just why? Of all things you could have made, they're like, you know what? Let's make an Aunt May movie. You know, just that's what we need
They were
right
just
now.
throwing shit at the wall. I would have preferred a Silver Sable movie.
Yeah, they were gonna do that apparently. Sable and Black. That's what it was gonna be called. It was gonna be Silver Sable and Black Cat. But they canceled it once Spider-Man went to Marvel.
But to be honest, that's just my bias. I just really like Silver Sable.
Yeah. What was it? What was that guy with the Cloak and Dagger? Cloak and Dagger was supposed to be a movie, not a TV show.
Is that still going?
Yes, it's still going. The fact that you said, is that still going? Kind of highlights the problem with this thing, man.
It highlights the problem of all these New Mutants, Cloak and Dagger, as a few other series, Legion as well.
Yeah.
What happened to
Is
Legion?
that still a thing?
Yeah.
I don't even remember, man. I remember there was like season 1, season 2, and then nothing.
It's
It
like
wasn't on Fox anymore. Like just
all these Marvel shows just like fade into the mist.
like some of the CW shows. It's not like you stop watching. It's just like you're like
You lose
Yeah.
interest. It's not good enough to hold your interest for
because the
quite
first season's a banger. It's an absolute banger. And then the second one just sort of like coasts.
it's like it's middling. It's very
Yeah.
middling.
And from then on, you just like you don't even watch the whole third season. You see like the first couple episodes, and you're like, I wonder what else is on.
You know what's the best shows, right?
Yeah.
Where there's, I wouldn't say a definitive ending, but you could tell it's under 10 episodes per season, or it's
Yeah.
around 10 episodes per season. It's not, and there's
It's not a mini series, but yeah.
Yeah, those shows seem to do very well. Like Breaking Bad, very well. Mr. Robot, very well. There's another series I'm thinking about. Peaky Blinders did very well.
Oh, with what's his name? It's Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that show.
That show. Yeah.
I saw a video about like 10. What's this? Like 10 tips to help you like. I don't know what it was, but it was like a study on like how Cillian Murphy's character in Peaky Blinders like stay in control or whatnot, or stay in control of the conversation or whatnot. And it was just showing him in Peaky Blinders doing his thing. And I'm like, I want to see this shit.
Yeah,
I don't want to see snippets of him doing his thing. I want to see the whole.
I think the character when he's on screen, Tom Hardy in that show is fucking brilliant. I think that was like that's it's just one scene. It's in the third or fourth season where he just like Tom Hardy's character is in control.
Right.
Like when he's on screen, he's in control. He's very calm.
Yeah.
He talks a lot. But there's this one scene where he just like he loses his shit, and it's probably his best scene that I've ever seen from Tom Hardy. If you watch like Peaky Blinders, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Did you see
It
that?
sticks out.
Yeah. You see that Al Capone movie he was in?
I haven't seen it.
Don't. It's it's directed by the same guy who directed Fantastic. So, see, this was supposed to be his big comeback movie. He's like, there's no studio meddling on this movie. You know, I'm gonna, have full creative control. And
Maybe he should have done the Formula One thing instead of Michael Fassbender.
yeah, just maybe if we're lucky, he hit a wall or something. Just. Dude, like when you see like you know like okay, it's Tom Hardy, so there's a certain level of quality you expect going in.
Yeah.
And he's playing a real person. He's not like a fictional character or whatnot. So, okay, he's got all the prosthetics and shit, and he's playing Al Capone, this big time gangster, but he's playing this big time gangster towards the end when he's got like Alzheimer's and he's shitting himself and like there's like a full scene. It's like 2 minutes of Tom Hardy sitting there shitting himself. Like, I watching?
You know
What am I watching?
This is who's the guy who played Gandalf?
What? That guy? What about him?
There was a Sherlock movie about him. Did you know this?
Oh yeah, where Sherlock was an old man and he was like talking to this kid and telling him the stories and shit. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
That was really, really boring.
Yes. That is not what I expected.
Nobody wants to see Sherlock when he's fucking old. And especially not doing that. He needs to be like still solving crimes and
Not sitting around telling stories about how he solved crimes.
yeah, about like honeybees. I remember that. I was like,
Yeah. I remember that shit, like the fucking honey and the little Japanese kid, like really, like just what are we doing?
what are we doing here?
There's this scene in Al Capone where like he's wearing an adult diaper, he's got this golden Tommy gun and he's just like firing away, like screaming obscenities and shit. And like when I saw that in the trailer, I didn't see the diaper. I didn't see that he wasn't wearing pants. All I saw was like from the waist up, dude's got a gun and a cigar. He's like blasting shit. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a like badass action movie or something. But no, just a crazy old man with a machine gun.
It's like the Breaking Bad scene.
Dude.
Yeah, it's just like it's like I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm an adult
At
diaper.
least now we know for a fact studio meddling did not ruin Fantastic.
It was you.
Yes, it
you
was
or-
you.
Yeah, sometimes it ain't the studio. Sometimes it's just
The
you
director
you
just sucks.
You just suck. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like do the Michael Fassbender thing. Drive a car.
You remember when like the day that movie came out, he sent out a tweet. He's like, "I made an amazing Fantastic Four movie, and it was ruined by like Fox."
I doubt.
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah.
Because I remember I showed you like the behind the scenes thing. They had the Fantastic Car, or what was supposed to be the Fantastic Car, and I was like, "You think it would have been any better?" And you're just like, "Nope." I'm like, "You care to explain on that? Like, why would you say that? Like, it just sucked, man. Like, the Fantastic Car wouldn't have changed the whole movie. I mean,
You know what I didn't like from the original Fantastic Four?
yeah.
There's no true progression.
do you mean?
They just got the suits. They just got
They
the
already
car.
had the suits. They were space suits, man. Like,
Yeah, and then the car. They just got the car.
no, he made the car in like
Yeah.
secrets in the second one.
Yeah,
so-
but that was like, I don't know. It's just when it comes to things like developing technology and stuff like that, I feel like
You want a scene where he's like working on it like Iron Man?
yes, please, okay. Maybe I'm missing that from like watching the Iron Man movie. I just want to see him work on something. Because this skinny motherfucker is like ding, 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 pulling
Yeah.
this bloody big car.
Yeah,
Like-
and you see like the inner workings of like when Iron Man was like making the leg, you could see like the exposed material and shit.
Yeah.
And he had like the arm just attached to the reactor with like a wire or something. Like,
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was cool. I think that's my favorite scene from that, and when he goes back to destroy the Jericho missile. Yeah, it's like we'll kill them. No, and it's like okay, and all those mini missiles fire. That was
That
funny.
was fun. Oh shit. But with there was from that scene. I remember there was this like RoboCop moment where he's like, because in the original RoboCop there was this hostage taker with like an AK, and he was holding these people hostage, and like RoboCop was in the next room, and the dude is standing at the wall, and he just like puts his fist through, and he pulls the guy out.
Yes,
Do you remember that?
yeah, that's
That guy should have been dead. First of all, like you went through a wall, man.
Oh, you are alive.
Dude.
It's like it's all yours.
Realistically speaking, he would have pulled him through, and there would have just been like blood, like oh
You would
shit.
have crushed him.
Because his hands are metal. His hands aren't soft.
Yeah,
Like,
that's.
yeah.
I don't know what material. That was space age.
Yeah, the stuff they put on like the spaceship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
satellite.
Because he was talking about like with re-entry and all that shit.
Yeah. That made a very cool scene later on. It's like my suit is better than yours. And
How'd you solve the icing problem? It's like icing problem.
The what? Bing.
Oh shit. Oh, you know, fun fact about that. I realized he didn't even solve the icing problem because he went down after that shit. Like,
No, the only reason he went down is because he was using the battery that he made in the cave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why is his suit so shit? And then I'm like, oh, he's using the old battery.
yeah. But that thing fucking lasted.
Yeah, that thing lasted a while.
Yeah.
It's like
It
Tony
lasted
Stark.
like 3 movies, man.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 movies because got a new one in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know what really bugged me about Iron Man 2? And I hope this gets brought up in the new War Machine series that they're going to be making. The man discovered a whole new source of energy,
Yeah.
and then he only did one thing with it: power stock down.
Yes.
That
one
was it.
thing. Not power New York City or nothing like that.
His
Just
one
like
tower, my
yeah.
one tower. If the rest of them.
In the immortal words of Kevin Smith, Tony Stark is kind of a dick. The Avengers don't get paid. Like,
He just makes them cool sound.
dude, I mean, that like Falcon looked. It was kind of silly when he was sitting there asking for a loan, and he was like, "Don't you guys get paid?" Like, and he was like, "Well, there's a lot of goodwill," and like, "Yeah, but you can't have been living off of goodwill." Like,
I mean, like, Tony Stark has enough money, right? He doesn't need to, like, you know, not getting a salary or something. You know, like signing an Avengers con. He's like, get in there, do the work.
Yeah,
You can come over. We got like, I'll build you a suit. Like, you're not really getting paid. Tony fucking Stark, man.
dude, I mean, come on, man.
He didn't want to make the Avengers into like a business.
Yeah.
Like,
There was a joke in about WandaVision, and like when the dude saw like, oh, the Avengers don't get paid, it's like, so that's why Iron Man drives an Audi and Wanda drives like a Buick. Like just, dude. I mean, fuck. You're friends with Tony Stark. I mean, you can't like call up Pepper and be like, hey, you know, I really need someone to co-sign a loan for me. Can you like, you know, help me out? It just.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really showed, like, because up until Falcon Winter Soldier, we never actually put much thought into that, like, these guys don't get paid, like, how do they live, you know, like,
I mean-
we never really thought about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really wholesome when
Yeah.
they fixed the boat.
Yeah.
When they fixed the boat, and then Bucky came with like a small, like
You
everybody.
remember they were like, how are we gonna get this thing off the truck? And he just comes along, lifts it.
There were certain moments in that show that really touched me, like Isaiah.
Yeah, that, when
And
he
the-
went to the museum.
Yeah, that got me. Like I was in the fields
Like,
there.
I remember he was sitting there. He was like, they erased the guy. And I'm like, damn, this guy's been in hiding all these fucking years, and then to have him come in at the end to just give him that, to basically give him his life back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember this one like reviewer was like, yo, what if he stayed like that mean old man the whole way? What if he saw this and he was like, yo, this is a bunch of bullshit. Like who the fuck you think you are putting all this like, dude, that would have been funny, but
That would have been.
that would have been funny, but goddamn, just I'm glad he was like, thank you. Just,
Yeah.
I hate that he gave up the shield though. When I saw that, I'm like, cause I hadn't watched the show and I knew he like, I thought they made him give it up. I thought like some guy came and like, you know, this needs to be in a museum and he agreed with him. And then behind his back, they gave it to someone else. I thought like they took it from the black guy to give it to the white guy. Like, that's what I thought going in. But then I'm like, he gave it up. What the fuck, dude? Why?
He just he didn't need to. It was very dumb.
That pissed me off, dude. I'm like, dude, just give it to Bucky if you don't want it.
Yeah,
Bucky
like-
is right there.
Yeah, he's right there. He's like
Yeah.
best friends with Cap. You know.
Dude.
Here you go.
But just John Walker, the odds man.
John. To be honest, I hated him for a lot of the show. For a
Yeah.
lot of the show, I really, really didn't like him.
Since he got the moment he got the shield, or after he decapitated a dude.
Both. I hated him more after that, and I liked when they both kicked his ass.
Yeah. They fucking broke his arm, dude. Like, they were like,
Yeah, that was.
oh, that was grim. Just
But you could tell like the difference in character between
like Steve and John. Yeah.
no, not just that, between Falcon and him.
Yeah.
Like Falcon's like, no, I wouldn't take the serum.
And he's just a dude. He even says so at the end. He's like, I got no serum. Like, all I got is like, you know, just me.
Yeah.
And it shows that he can accomplish all this shit without the serum. And John Walker had the serum and like,
He effed it up. He
Yeah.
messed it up. And it paid a testament to what the Doctor said in the first movie. Captain America is not the serum, it's the person.
Even though that's like a good man becomes great, a bad man becomes worse.
Yeah. Well, it's like what are you? A good man.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Just like thing with John Walker and like I feel like that guy represents entitlement because you remember that scene where he was like telling his like he was trying to get info on his guy and he's like, do you know who I am? Like right there I'm like, that's entitlement right there.
That's entitlement.
Like the dude's not gonna respect you just because you're Captain America.
Yeah.
You gotta do something, man.
Yeah.
Like
And you know Steve, like he never used the title ever. He used it as a joke once.
Yeah, like, that is Captain America's ass. Just
it was like, that is America. He never like, oh, I am Captain America. He's like, get the job done.
But when Walker said it, after they were like trying to take the shield, they were trying to take it from him, and he was like, he had Sam pinned down, and like broke the guy's wings, and he was like, I am Captain America. Like, whoa.
No, you're not.
No, you're not, man.
It went to his head. And you know what really pissed me off? Is that they just afterwards were like, oh, it's all good, you murdered that guy. You get US agent now. And it's a chick from Seinfeld who's like,
yes, Elaine.
out of all characters.
First Elaine. What other Seinfeld character can we get, huh? You think we can get Costanza in like fucking the Loki show or something? You know, like.
I would love Costanza.
No. The Loki show's like almost done. Maybe he'll pop up in like Hawkeye or something. Like he'll be like Hawkeye's uncle or some shit.
You know what? I'm quite interested to see what he does with the Ronin persona.
Yeah. Well, this would be the aftermath of that because
He win it.
you can't keep doing that. His
Yeah.
family's back, so
His
he's
family's
got.
back.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that went dark.
Yeah.
That went someplace, man.
It does bug me that they got Hiroyuki Sanada. Like, they got Hiroyuki Sanada, fucking dude from 47 Ronin, The Last Samurai, all these fucking movies, and they only used him in one scene, and he dies.
We barely lost for a minute. But the coolest part was that whole scene was like, oh yeah, the rest of the world got Thanos. You get me.
Dude. Yo. It's like the movie shifted tones between them. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm talking on this way.
oh.
Bear with me 2 minutes.
One.
Yeah, just bear with me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, not recording it.
Oh no, we put on pause.
Oh, yes.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for respecting me. I'm actually doing this.
Really fast, man. Like, the movie shifted after that. You know, like, I mean, it maintained its like jokey tones every now and then with the clips and shit, but like, once Ronin showed up, the whole movie just got like,
Very, very serious.
yeah. I think that's the darkest the Russos have gone in their like Avengers movies. Would you say? Yeah. But like, you can't go any further with that character because his family's back. His whole reason for going down this road is erased. So he's Hawkeye again.
I think what needs to happen now is answering for the consequences.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the people were he wasn't like murdering like innocent people, like butchering.
Yeah.
He was running
So he's gonna have like gangs coming after him.
gangs. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting him taking up that persona. Like, but despite the very short amount of time, Ronin was
Yes, they made Hawkeye a badass.
me and Hawkeye.
And they gave him a mohawk too. Just, oh shit. That mohawk, what did you think? So many people went out to get one.
This is like when this Cillian Murphy, Thomas Shelby's character. This is like after the second season of Peaky Blinders. Everybody got the bloody Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. It's actually called the Peaky Blinders, by the way. That's, oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna admit, when I saw that movie, I actually wanted to get that mohawk because I had the relaxed hair and I'm thinking, okay, when I cut this, I'm gonna get that mohawk. Like, I'm definitely gonna get that mohawk. A relaxed mohawk, like this. I'm so glad I didn't do that. That would have grown out so weird.
I think certain hairstyles for TV just need to.
Yes.
It stays there.
Yeah. Oh man. But shit though, I mean, with the you know the director of Spider-Man is directing the Fantastic Four, the MCU's Fantastic Four. I'm not a fan of that, man. Cause no, he's doing a bang up job with Spider-Man. But that's the thing, he's doing a bang up job with Spider-Man. I don't want the same directors working on other properties because they're gonna have a same feel. He's gonna bring his style to that world. Personally, I want each hero or group of hero to have their own directors.
You have one director with like one vision.
Yeah,
The
like
thing is-
look what the Russos did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy in their movies, but when they came into Infinity War, it was all Russos.
No. They made Gunn write all the parts for Guardians. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it was so much his character.
but someone else was doing the thing. It's like someone else driving your car.
They're not gonna drive it. You'll feel off about it.
It's gonna be weird. Like,
But at least you're in the passenger seat. You know?
yeah, you're at least coaching them like, okay, like gear shift and shit. Like,
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it's gonna be good because John Watts has been, you know.
The thing is, right? I think he's done a bang up job with Spider-Man because he's leaned into what makes this kind of Spider-Man. It's that childlike view of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's not like an immature like actual child's compared to like the rest of the other Marvel characters. He has a very
And he's a lot more trusting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if he leans into
And-
the material,
Believe it or not, despite everything that goes on, he's actually pretty grounded. You know, he's pretty kept humble by the people around him and all that. This cannot happen with the Fantastic Four. You cannot ground the Fantastic Four in reality. Okay, they tried that with Fan Four Stick and it sucked. Okay, they're doing space missions, fighting people with the power of cosmic. Lean into that.
I think he will.
Yeah.
I hope so. And I hope he casts a good Doctor Doom. Like, that's all I care about. Like, I don't give a shit about the rest of the cast. The second Doctor Doom shows up, I'm like, I'm paying attention.
Yeah, you remember in WandaVision when Rambo was like, I've got a friend who's gonna give me all this tech, and everyone thought it was gonna be Reed Richards, and it turns out, oh, it's just some woman. Okay. I don't know why everybody was just like, oh, it's gonna be Reed Richards, it's gonna be Reed Richards, it's gonna be, oh, it's not.
Apparently, from what I've seen from IGN, thank you IGN for this. Loki, the series, hints to a greater, like a multiversal war, and they feel like that might be the plan of the
To
MCU.
introduce like the mutants and all that. No, it's to introduce everyone else. It's Multiverse of Madness that's gonna introduce the mutants. Because I remember reading about that. That's what they plan to go down that route.
I don't know how to feel about that.
It's a movie called Multiverse of Madness. What do you expect?
I get that part. But Doctor Strange and mutants, you could not get more further apart.
Like science and magic.
Yes.
But the MCU does this whole thing that magic is science, and I hate that shit, man. Magic is magic. Stop trying to explain everything. It's just, ugh. They did that with Thor. You remember that shit?
Magic is just science that you don't understand. Mjolnir is like somebody coded Mjolnir.
Dude, I remember in like Thor: The Dark World, they had like this not a device. They had this like mystic way of like scanning to see if she had any broken bones. So he's like, oh, so it's like an X-ray machine. He's like, no, it's a. He's like, oh, X-ray machine. Just, fuck, no, stop doing that. Just
What's that villain from DC? Mystique.
Mystique.
Not Mystique, no. Maisel. It's a long...
Mids pick like that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like the impronounceable name. The only way you beat him is to get him to say his name backwards. That guy.
Yeah.
That is a lame weakness, by the way.
Yeah, but like he just exists. Like the whole reason he can do all that stuff is because he is from a century so ahead of ours that it seems like magic.
I mean, like Batmite. Remember him from the Batman TV show?
He's also from that
Yeah.
universe as well.
You remember in the Fantastic Four show on Cartoon Network, there was that guy like the little green motherfucker. He could make whatever he wanted happen, and he was like hanging around the Fantastic Four, being all annoying and shit. Like just he was basically that
I mean
guy.
Franklin Richards? Oh no, sorry,
No.
wrong character.
What's wrong with you, man? What's going on? What's with this?
Well, I'm just saying, like Franklin at certain points when he was quite young, I mean, when he got older and they did those comics, that was pretty cool. But when Franklin, when he was younger, was like, I know you're strong, but like, shut up and sit there. Just sit there.
The first time I saw Franklin Richards was in this comic. It was in this Xmen comic, God Loves, Man Kills. It was in the library at Chelsea. I remember seeing it, and he was just a kid, and the first thing he was like, mommy, like daddy's radio is beeping. It's like, radio. It's like this like emergency contact thing. It's how they call the Fantastic Four down to situations, and like 3 out of 4 members of the Fantastic Four got kidnapped, and the only person that's left was Sue Storm, and she went to go get help from the X-Men. I'm just like, damn, that was my first like crossover experience, like Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Oh my god, this is gonna be cool, dude. And it was. She just like rocked up at Xavier's place. Like, you can just walk in.
You can do that. You can do that.
Oh, dude, that place is so easily accessible when you stop and think about it. Like, Wolverine just walked in. Fucking Stryker just strolled on in there in X2. Like,
This is like, I'm thinking of a scene. Where is this from? This is a scene where somebody's like, we have some of the most advanced security in the world. I'm like, yeah, it took me 2 minutes.
oh, Justice League.
Yeah, it took me.
Justice League, technically, but like, yeah, that cut. That's the
Yeah.
one. Is like, he's like, I paid millions of dollars for this building security, and he's like, it looked expensive. Like,
It took me about a minute to get in.
oh shit. Oh yeah, that shit. In the Snyder cut, she says it took me a minute to get in, and Justice League was like, yeah, it looked expensive.
Oh, what did you?
Because, yeah, like, it implies, like, she destroyed it. But in the second one, it's like, oh, she, like, outmaneuvered the system or something. I don't know, that little change kind of paints a different picture of Wonder Woman. Like, because in Justice League, when she said it looked expensive, like, oh, she just, like, broke the fucking camera and marched away. But when she's like, oh, it took me all of a minute to get in here, it's like, oh, she must have, like, outsmarted it somehow.
Yeah.
Their portrayals of Wonder Woman are vastly different.
Yeah, she gives a lot more exposition in the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that. They didn't really add so much to her character. Like, she was the least effective. Most being Cyborg and
Yeah.
Flash.
Aquaman.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's not so much. It's a little bit. Because he's going through a lot of character in, well, his own movie.
You see his eyes, like eyes were all green, and then in the Justice cut they're a different color, and then in Aquaman they're a different color. People are like, what the fuck's going on with his eyes, man? Like,
He goes into the character selection screen, just like changing the tints.
dude. Like Jason Momoa said that he picked like those eyes because he wanted something different for his character. He didn't want him to like blend in with everyone else. In the original, like when Zack Snyder was still a director, he picked the green eyes for that reason. But when Joss Whedon came on, he just like, nah, let's just have like your normal eyes.
Yeah.
But then in Aquaman, when James Wan came on, he didn't want him to have normal eyes. He wanted to have contacts, but a different color this time. The reason he gave was like, oh, he's a lot calmer now. Now that he's like back home in Atlantis. That's why his eyes are different. Like, really?
Your eyes don't change color based on that.
Seriously, just dude's eyes change color because of his mood. Really? Come on, dude. Oh, and he does more damage in the Snyder cut. You notice?
Yeah, he does.
Because in Justice League, he surfs that one parademon down, and he like comes through the levels of this building, and he like slides out, and it's like, dude, his like hair's blown in the wind, and he just like does it back, and he goes back into the fight. But in the Snyder cut, he comes down on that building and he fucking levels the thing.
Yeah, he
Oh, dude.
I think he did level it. He leveled it in both movies.
No, in the first one, he just like boom, 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 and then came out the other
His
side.
thing was like, wow. It's like the whole
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
Dude, they kept the part where he is cyborg through him. Like, my man.
Like, my man. Like just, but in when Superman shows up, they actually tone down the alright. Because in Justice League, like, he sees Superman, he's like, alright. And he even nods his head a little bit.
Yeah.
But in the Snyder Cut, he's like, alright. And Wonder Woman's like, Kal-El. Like, just, okay, I can kind of see why you, I don't get why you tone it down, but
he was
okay.
a lot stronger
Yeah.
in the Snyderverse.
And they give him more to do.
Yeah, they did give him more. It's like, oh yeah, you need to go visit. You need to. That.
Well, that Atlantis stronghold, and like he gets there like literally just as Steppenwolf leaves. But like in Justice League, he got there wow. Like we didn't even see the full battle and shit. You just saw like a bit of it, and then it cuts to like something else, and then he showed up afterwards. But I love like Mira basically like blood bending Steppenwolf. You remember that like the bubble, and then like.
You think your bubble, it's not for protection. It's just blood bending. I'm like, yo, Katara, calm down. Yo, Katara, yo, chill with the water bending, please.
I want to see how they do that in the Avatar TV show. The Netflix show.
When's that coming out, by the way?
I don't know.
Netflix is like, we announced a whole bunch of things. Half of them will be released, half of them will be cancelled.
And then they just keep quiet until it's like a week before release. They're like, oh yeah, this is coming out.
They don't do that with Stranger Things.
Yes, Stranger Things has trailers and fucking announcement. This is a trailer that's literally announcing that a trailer is coming soon. A trailer for a trailer.
That's a very Netflix thing to do.
It is, man. You know what I didn't notice about Netflix? They don't release shows week to week.
They
like,
do.
No, they do now, but for the Stranger Things back in the day, they would just release
like
the whole thing.
like,
Yeah.
because they release it on Friday so that you can binge it. That's why.
Yeah.
Because if they released it week to week, and the show was shit, it's not gonna grab the audience's attention. And Stranger Things, like, despite it being like, I don't want to say a kid's show. It's not a kid's show, right?
No,
it's just
not.
it's very information heavy. So
It gets gory towards the end.
yeah, it does. Oh my god! When they killed the
Demogorgon. They went in 11, just extended like, and all the blood, and it's just, oh man, that was damn. But you kind of knew she was coming back. They're like, nah, they're not gonna end the show like this, man. There's a second season somewhere, you know.
There's the third season. There was a third season, right?
Yeah, because wait, there was a big one. There was a big one for I don't remember if that was season 2 or 3,
Season
but like
2, I think that was.
yeah.
And they had Sam from from Lord of the Rings.
Dude from Lord of the Rings, man, got eaten by that fucking thing.
Yeah,
That made me. There was this one scene, you know, when he gives the kid advice, he's like, stand your ground and like look it right in the eye and say, I'm not afraid, and it's gonna go. He didn't know that the kid was dealing with an